Good morning, Digit fam. Adam Dowd here, coming at you remotely, which, programming note, is probably going to be an on and off thing for at least the rest of this month, so I'll just stop mentioning it. But I do have news for you. Not news, just like normal news, like what I do. And before I confuse us any further, it is December 10th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. Remember those Snapdragon chips we talked about last week? Well, guess what? We've already got a phone, and there are parts of this phone that are very, very compelling, but I will probably never be able to buy it. Why, you ask? Because Xiaomi. Specifically, the Xiaomi Redmi K30, and wait till you get a load of this phone. You've got a 6.67-inch display with a 120Hz refresh rate, so suck on that, OnePlus and Google. There's also a punch hole in that screen for the selfie camera, and that punch hole goes through an LCD panel. Probably. We're guessing LCD because of the 120Hz refresh rate, and we're trying to confirm. But what also comes with this phone is a Snapdragon 765G, which you'll remember from last week is Qualcomm's mid-range chip focused on gaming phones, which also totes a 5G modem on board. The 4G model of this phone comes with the older 730G chip because modems. Now, compared to the 730G, the 765G boasts a 20% improvement in CPU performance and 40% in GPU performance. It's no slouch for sure. This phone is also the first to come with Sony's latest IMX686 image sensor. That's 64 megapixels, pixel bin down to 16 megapixels, and that's a lot of math, but needless to say, it's a large sensor and should be capable of taking some really good photos. Add to that a 4500 milliamp hour battery and 30 watts of fast charging, and you've got a phone that lasts for 2 days and charges to full in just over an hour. Oh, and by the way, this is a Xiaomi phone, so the price is basically insane. The 5G model starts at $284 for 6 gigabytes of RAM and 64 gigabytes of storage, going up to $412 for 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. That's a 5G phone for under $300. But it's also Xiaomi, so will this ever reach US shores? Almost certainly not, at least not without going through a third-party retailer. Other questions: what will the pricing be like outside of China? We don't know, but it'll almost definitely be cheap. But the bottom line here is that Xiaomi is proving Qualcomm right out of the gate. It's making 5G phones affordable, which is awesome. Add to that things like T-Mobile's nationwide 5G network, which came online recently, and 5G is getting closer and closer to a reality. Of course, we're going to ignore the fact that T-Mobile's air-quote nationwide network leaves out 1/3 of Americans, but they live on farms, so they don't count. All the same, I don't think we're opening the floodgates on 5G just yet, but it is exciting that it's getting closer, as long as you live within a 1-hour drive of a Walmart. Beyond that, you're probably screwed. So while we learn to live with the fact that 5G will probably be measured on the Walmart scale, let's head into the roundup! Google is going to start rolling out what it's calling feature drops, which are basically new features added to the Google Pixel phones over time. Google's philosophy is that your phone should get better over time, so it can eventually catch up to the price tag you initially paid for it. Oh, sick burn. But in all seriousness, this is the kind of commitment I like to see in a company, dedicated to improving devices over time, rather than just pushing their little boat out into the water and then going back to the shop and starting work on the next little boat. So the real question is this sustainable? Will Google just keep coming up with feature after feature and continue upgrading all its phones? It's too early to tell, but I really like the idea here. I skipped over this story yesterday because I knew what I'd be reporting today. There's some history here, so bear with me. Epic Games has required Android users to basically sideload Fortnite for over a year now. Well, yesterday, Epic Games decided to submit Fortnite to the Google Play Store, but with Epic's own proprietary payment system that bypasses Google's payment system and therefore Google's 30% cut from in-app purchases. Google said, "Oh, hey there, look at that, nice job, eh? That's really great. Oh, and by the way, no." Epic Games responded with a statement saying, basically, we asked Google to not make us pay 30%, and they said no. Like they've basically said to literally everyone else who has ever asked, but we're Fortnite, so bagow! We think Google forcing us to use its payment system is illegal. What Epic did not say was what they intend to do about it, so we will be keeping a very close eye on this story. Android Authority is getting the ball rolling on CES coverage because it's next month, and honestly, Android Authority is a good place to find out the important stuff because judging from my inbox, CES is going to have everything from AI to penis pumps, which is confusing. But anyway, also included in CES this year is Apple for the first time in 28 years. Apple will not have a booth or any presence on the show floor, but it will be there as part of a privacy panel because, of course, it will. But it's still exciting to see Apple coming back to a show that is slowly taking the consumer out of the Consumer Electronics Show. Programming note, by the way, I will not be attending CES, just couldn't get the logistics in place to make it work. CES la vie. We've talked about Away, the luggage company whose micromanaging CEO wouldn't allow conversations between workers to occur via email or Slack. Basically, anything that anyone said to each other that wasn't in person had to be in a public Slack room. Oh, and she was also a workaholic, and by all reports expected everyone working there to be one too. We're talking 12-hour days for months at a time, weekends, 3 a.m. Slack messages. Honestly, dictator-level stuff. Well, she's out as CEO, but staying on as executive chairwoman, so I'm not sure that really makes things better, but honestly, assuming anyone who works at Away actually sleeps, maybe some of them will sleep a little bit better. Oh, and start WhatsApp accounts with each other, because I would have done that like months ago. And finally, Elon Musk was spotted over the weekend tooling around LA in his new Cybertruck, now with 100% less shattered windows. People snapped photos of a truck, and reportedly Elon clipped a traffic cone coming out of a parking lot, which is just vintage Elon. I was still under the impression that the Cybertruck was not street legal, but I don't speak cars, so I'll just assume that Elon wasn't pulled over for not having rearview mirrors. Still, the photos taken emphasize just how weird this truck is, and I'd like to think that I'm interested in one, but I think it might just be too weird even for me. So that's going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe, leave a review, and don't forget to tell your friends about DigitDailyPod.com. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.